Hello everybody, it is May 10th, 2013's weekly wrap-up, and hey, Sunday's Mother's Day, so I wish everybody's mother a happy Mother's Day. And what did we do this last week? A continuation of the advanced voice course. Got into that minor major 7th chord. If you're on the website and you can see that, and more importantly, hear that and start to vocalize to it, I think you're going to find that a hard interval to vocalize to, because the natural thing to do is to vocalize to a minor 7th. For those of you that understand this, it's a 1, flat 3, 5 with a major 7th instead of a minor 7th on the 7th. And the natural thing to do is to hit that minor 7th. To jump up from the minor triad up to the major 7th is a little bit different, and it's a very, very different sounding chord. But that's the whole point in the advanced voice course, to constantly be moving you with the proper vocal techniques as far as bridge points are concerned. Work your voice classification over your particular bridge points and keep singing all of these different interrelated harmonies in all of these chords. We're getting up to a point now where I'm introducing enough sounds that finally we get to this point where I can start to put the chords together and you can start to hear them inside the chord progressions and relate to them that way. That's when I think it gets pretty exciting and you understand what it is I've been doing with you all along. So anyway, that's what's going on there. That's a continuation of that, and more great sounds to come. We've got some really cool scales we haven't dealt with yet coming up. Major pentatonics, the diminished to full diminished scale, the difference between what a minor 7 flat 5 and a full diminished chord is. Now as a singer, again, you may think, wow, do I really need to know all of this stuff? Academically, not so much, honestly. I do, because I'm multi-instrumentalist. I play lots of instruments. And within playing these instruments is what sort of brought me to this place in a lot of ways. And I've also really enjoyed jazz scat singing and R&B approaches towards embellishments and licks and trills and lines, and all of these things happen with your ability to hear the interrelated harmonies of chords. And so that's why this is so important. Now, a good singer does hear these things. They just naturally hear these things. They always resolve to the right notes and the right notes and the harmonies. And there's plenty of people who can't articulate what's going on theoretically. Example, a minor major 7th chord. What's that? No, they can't articulate that, but they can sing to it. And that's my point. I'm going to develop singers who have all of the technique and the strength through their bridges and the real understanding of how to get somewhere as far as air pressure is concerned in their vocal cords, and simultaneously get them to respond to all of the sounds, the most common sounds in music. Put those two things together, you have such a strong singer with plenty of tools and abilities to do anything they want to do. So probably a perfect segue for you YouTubers in relationship to the musical tip of the week is, besides hearing and listening to all the interrelated harmonies, you know, this internet thing, there's so many cool things that you can do, and I have my students here in my studio do a particular little exercise that just utilizes YouTube in a few different ways, and I want to talk about that. Okay, so one way is that we can certainly look up all of these great singers and musicians and watch them play and listen to them and start to understand what good singing is. Who's a good singer? Who's, you know, I like that, I didn't like that. And you can listen and you can go, that person's got a lot of edge in their tone. Is that person singing perfectly in tune or not? You know, those types of things. But here's a study that's kind of fun to do. Take a song, and I'm going to take the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Now, I'm going to ask you just to Google some of these singers singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Listen to Patti LaBelle sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And if you Google Patti LaBelle and write in Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you're going to see a lot of different versions of it. The version I think that is the great version is she's kind of in a winged bird dress, and it's purple or or pink or something. I don't exactly remember right now, but it'll be obvious when you Google that. You'll see her, and she's live on a stage. Incidentally, try to listen to all of these people singing live. It's always better to see their performance in a live situation than just hear the recording. If you can't, like for instance listening to Judy Garland, I don't know if there's a live version of Judy Garland singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but we certainly have all heard her version of it, so we add that to the mix. Also Eva Cassidy singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and Sam Harris singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Sam Harris was a singer who won a competition a long time ago on Star Search, long before there was ever American Idol or The Voice or any of the things that are on today, although we can look for good singers right there as well. But was a weekly series called Star Search, and they didn't just have singers on it. They had different musicians and comedians and dancers and kind of different categories. But in the singing category, Sam Harris one year was the man. He just wiped everybody else out. He has an amazing version of it, and that's the version you want to hear, him singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow on Star Search. So I know if you listen to all these different singers singing the exact same song, you start to open up your mind to the possibilities of stylizing. You don't have to sing like any of those singers, you need to sing like you. But ultimately, listening to all of these different singers and their approaches to it. Are they going up into their nasal resonator? If you understand what a nasal resonator is, right? Nasal resonator, mouth resonator. And if you're in your mouth resonator, you're usually pulling down a little bit in the chest. If you're moving up into your nasal resonator, it's a little easier to negotiate your way up into your head voice. Kind of goes there naturally, actually. And also shave off some of that air pressure as you're keeping your connection together. But listen, I love Patti LaBelle's version because you really see her getting, she gets really funny little tones in what she's doing as she's singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it really works. And then she turns the thing into just an unbelievable performance. And by the end of the performance, she has people standing on their feet. She's done it not just with her vocal, but actually with her body movements and her communication to the audience. And that's part of being a singer too. Of course, technique and what you do with it is fantastic, but you also want to be able to be an entertainer. And being an entertainer is working with the communication of your body with the audience as well as your vocal technique. In a recording studio, there's nothing to do but stand in front of that microphone and bring the best vocal performance that you can bring. But when you walk up on the stage, you are now interacting and communicating with people. So when you're watching these clips I'm asking you to watch, listen for how the singer sings, the techniques they use, how long they hold the notes, all of their vocal techniques, and then do a shift and kind of look at how their facial, what they're doing with their faces, what they're doing with their bodies, how they're moving around on stage, how they're communicating with the audience. Put that together, you have a complete performer. And it's all about communication, both with the technique of your voice as well as the movement of your body. So again, I hope you have a great weekend and happy Mother's Day to all. And I shall look forward to talking to you again next week at the Weekly Wrap-Up.